This is 6-time IFBB Bikini Pro Champion Brina Martinez, and I take ZMA5 to make sure that I get the zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B6 needed to keep my immune system healthy and snack strong.
Jamel, let me have you go back. You just talked about kind of doing SHAKUR a solid and fighting him because nobody else wanted to. You definitely didn't have to give him the respect and the opportunity to take your belt from you.
Right.
Talk to me about the respect shown with signing with guys, knowing that it's a dangerous fight to make sure they further their own careers.
Man, I look at things that, they do in MMA right now. These guys, they fight, okay, take an L, but they come right back and fight, another big fight.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now, honestly, like I just pointed out, you know what I mean? So, even I was looking at SHAKUR, I was looking at, take the risk, man. What's wrong? Ain't nothing wrong with taking the risk. No one's gonna knock you for taking the risk. If anything, you get knocked for not fighting people. You know what I mean?
Fight the best to be
exactly. So I'm like, take the risk. So I'm like I knew that I was up against, but I wanted to be great. I still want to be great. That's why I told myself, after I went home, relaxed, I said, I can't go out like that.
Yeah.
Let me just enjoy time with the family, but I'm gonna come right back. I'm gonna bounce back, and I'm gonna prove why I was a world champion. I'm gonna prove why I'm a champion in life. You know what I mean? Come right back. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's just how I am.
You just talked about risk. Let's go back to what you were just talking about. How much risk, and I think this is the thing that folks are talking about, how much risk is associated with a guy like Canelo Alvarez going up to fight an unheralded WBC Cruiserweight champion as Mabaku?
Who's the risk for? Who's the risk for? Because listen, fighting Canelo is not it's not really a risk fighting Canelo because exactly you could listen if you fight somebody like say with Tank fight Isaac,
Isaac Cruz.
Yeah, with Cruz, that's a risk.
Right.
That's a risk because say if Isaac somehow comes out on top,
Pitbull is tough fight.
yeah, exactly.
Tough
Then it's back. The media's gonna hit you. Everything's gonna come down crashing on you. So those fights like that, those are the risks that you be like, they're dangerous, but it's like, man, if you don't come out on top or come out big, it might set you back. But if you fight somebody even if the dude could be a heavyweight, you fight Canelo, it's not really much of a risk for anyone. Because if Canelo somehow loses, okay, he took the risk, he fought the bigger man. That's all he fought the bigger man, he came up short. If if it goes the other way around, it just says that well, he got paid for it, and it's Canelo pound for pound number one.
But wouldn't Canelo still kind of get criticized and chastised only because a lot of people are looking at Makabu like, yo, we've never seen him fight. Well, a lot of people haven't seen him fight.
And he's been knocked out twice.
And he also hasn't fought since December of 2020. Right. So it's like,
when you start dissecting, of course, you're gonna look at it as a cherry picking, and I get that, I understand it, but at the end of the day, it's like, he like he hit the lottery now. He ain't, you know what I mean? But
Canelo fought 4 times in 2020.
Yeah, Canelo's been
busy.
He's been busy as hell. But
so
I understand the logic of that. But like I said, like Canelo, I just said he fought, he cleaned out to his respect, he cleaned out his division. Let him go out there, do what he got to do. I guess you could say have his fun, have his moment. He'll be back down, and we'll get to see the other fights we want to see.
How does it kind of work? With Roy Jones, he went all the way up to heavyweight, then he ended up going all the way back down to fight.
That's the risk.
Antonio Tarver,
that's the
and
risk.
His chin pretty much went out.
That's the risk. Because that's why it's great that we have more nutritionists and strength coaches in boxing now, because the risk was Roy, when he came back down, he was cutting muscle. That hurts more than just cutting weight. So that's what hurt him more. If you, like I said, he was never, when he came back down, even in that first Tarver fight, you can tell that he depleted himself so much just in his body that he couldn't withstand the damages because he cut up too much muscle. And from right there, it was down. So that's what the thing is to look at for this fight. How Canelo, when he shoots back up, how does he come back down? Does he come back down? Does he drastically come back down, or does he work his way back down? Because
tricking your body now.
Exactly.
What is it that the weight cut does to your punch resistance? What is it exactly what does the weight cut do to your punch resistance?
If you're losing more fluid in terms of draining all the water out of your body, you're losing a lot of fluid around the brain. That's why you've seen all the injuries in the past where fighters get clipped and they have these head injuries, or sadly they're losing their lives. So that's the risk. That's the risk of having these bad weight cuts and drastically bring it down so crazy.
So I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but does it kind of make sense for Canelo to kind of stay a cruiserweight? I mean,
I think he shoots back down and like at least come down to 75, and then because you know what he's gonna do. If he comes back to 75 and he feels like he's comfortable there, he's not gonna fully go down. He's gonna probably or he might catch you at a catch weight. But he's again, he calls his own shots now.
Yeah.
That's just the belly of the beast.
And
But do you,
I want to see him fight those guys, but I feel like he might have catch him on a catchweight after the cruiserweight fight.
but let me ask you, does it kind of take away from his legacy a little bit, because he's been the king not only in the ring, but he's been very crude and shrewd contractually with rehydration clauses, catch weight.
Oh yeah, when you start adding those little things, of course he's gonna get criticized. But when you look back down when you look back down on those things, 15 years later, let's be honest, people stop attending. If you're really like boxing historians like us, we'll be like, well, this fight, this happened, that. But like people look back on the resumes and they're like, well, Canelo was this, he was great. I mean, like I said, I've been a fan since I was a kid. Like Chavez Senior.
Yeah.
No weight clauses, no hydration clauses.
But when they started dissecting all the opponents, on his way to 100 wins and everything, and then that's when like you see people now started criticizing it. But back then, it was no wrong. Even now they'll still turn a block. They'll still turn away from all the like what they say cab drivers and this and that, because what I'm saying. But they always look back on at least the championship fights, the names he was fighting, and like I said, the number.
He want that Chavez praise. That's what he's doing.
I really kind of hate asking this kind of question because you're like probably the nicest guy in boxing and you don't really like criticizing people. But Canelo does call all the shots pretty much, and Floyd pretty much is saying that Tank called all the shots, in his division and stuff like that, whatever. But it's obviously a difference where Canelo has fought pretty much everybody, just about.
Right.
And Tank really hadn't. So is it kind of fair to be like, well, Tank doesn't really call the shots? You know what I mean?
I mean, if Tank doesn't call the shots, they can't really criticize Tank. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The Tank is following the lead that's actually, the roadmap they have already, paved out for him. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, I wanted to see him fight, the Shakurs of the world, and the Teofimos and then the Devin Haney. I want to see those fights. That's a knock that I want to see him in those big fights. You know what I mean? If we're being honest, the last real champion that way he fought, they say is what, Pedraza at times, whatever. But like I said, I know the man has the talent. He definitely has the talent. But like I said, at the end of the day, I feel like with them, they fight more in terms of being the draw and making the money.